Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. Things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and medications are hard to pronounce, so please bear with me. Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
One that says keep on teaching. Becoming a teacher and teaching students is in special education schools. Fortunately for me, my seizures have been controlled for many years and I have been off medication for almost a year. However, about 2 months ago, bit my tongue in my sleep for the first time and suspected that it might be epilepsy. I pushed up my appointment with my doctor forward and told him about it. And unfortunately, he told me that it wasn't epilepsy, and now I'm back on medication. I am taking carbamazepine now, and I'm feeling fine with the medication and hoping to stop the medication. Are there any teachers here with epilepsy who have epilepsy but have been teaching for many years and managed to control their epilepsy at work? Please share your experiences. Some of that was like written so bad I had to paraphrase a little bit. That's why I was taking breaks. But yeah.
I think it's scheduling. If you're a teacher with epilepsy, getting used to that schedule as far ahead of time as possible. So that wouldn't be a trigger for you. Hours can definitely be long.
There's a few comments here. One says, my sister had a teacher with epilepsy in primary school. He did have seizures. Rarely it did happen. The children were taught to run to the next class and get help. He was a very good teacher. Another comment says, I've seen comments from several career teachers. One occasionally had seizures in school and successfully fought to keep their job. I'm not saying it as a problem, just that people make it work. You'll probably be fine as long as you keep taking your meds. Is it normal to
Hey, we didn't do the icebreaker for Mark yet.
Oh, yeah, Mark and James. James, you there? The icebreaker, what's the first thing you notice when you walk in the bathroom?
Toilet roll over or under?
I always look straight in front of me, so I just notice the shower straight as soon as I go in. If I'm looking down, I get dizzy and all that. So the next question here says, is it normal to withhold blood tests without blood test results and have your seizure disorder thrown into question? I just came back from hematologist yesterday and very, very productive, but they're withholding some blood test results that came back and are showing up in my version of my chart. I'm also being told half the misery I've been going through for years could possibly be MASC or something else that could trigger seizures. Also dealing with side effects of the long-term seizure medications. Just need some advice. But is it normal to withhold medical blood tests and results, seizure disorder from? That was their question. And then they said, I'm just looking for help. My medical information in my chart is there and it hasn't changed, luckily, because I hear people say stuff like that all the time. The information changed and stuff was not supposed to change. Yeah, luckily I didn't have to go through that.
Can't tell what they're talking about on that MSC thing. I know when the only time they withheld blood test results for me was when they didn't like they were testing for the medication. And they didn't like how there was a lower level of medication than they wanted. So doctors were second guessing that I was even taking my meds. So they had more of an aggressive tone when they brought it up in that appointment, saying, this surgery is not going to go through. Nothing is the whole treatment plan is going to stop if you don't take all the meds we're telling you to. And they had to keep testing for that like every month before the surgeries. So yeah, figure out what they were testing for and why they would want to keep it.
Yeah, there's one comment here. It says, I don't know where you live, but in Australia, those results are legally yours and cannot be withheld by a doctor. The same with any medical records, you're legally required to provide them on request. Not that many do without a fight. If you don't get a specific answer anywhere, try looking at laws around your patient rights to medical records. In whatever area you're in, it's good to have that information to back you up and you back up your request. Then the author responds, I'm in the United States, I have everything but one. I think this doctor may want to go over them. Also, my story of my life, I can never go get my records because they have been falsified so many times, been blackmailed, and other stuff also. I feel lightheaded after a seizure. I had a seizure about a week ago, and ever since then, every time I stand up, I instantly feel light in the head and feel as though I'm going to pass out. I have an EEG done a day or so before I had the seizure because a breakthrough seizure a week before that. I've also had an increase in medication. I'm not sure where to go from here because I've always had this feeling, but never strong before. My doctor recommended a VNS, but I'm very worried about getting one, especially because it's a surgery. P.S. My EEG did not come back very abnormal, if that helps. Also, I've been feeling significantly lightheaded every time I stand up after having a seizure around a week ago, 19-year-old female. I've had them for about 5 to 6 years and already had an EEG and increase on medication dosage.
Oh, it seems like that's just how it goes when you get started. The seizures might not be interrupting every aspect of your life, but it changes. For a lot of us, it gets worse, and you just go from trying any combination of meds they want to give you, up the dose all the way, and then switch to another one, and that can take up some years. So if they're recommending the VNS now, maybe take it seriously. Look into it to decide that it's really not worth it because you might have too many foci to be eligible for the VNS in the near future.
I say you could listen to your doctor. I personally don't want any surgeries, like you said, because it's a surgery. I'm with you there. Yeah, you got to figure something out. You're 19 years old. So I suggest listening to your doctor. I'm no doctor.
So you, Pookie, that's you saying you don't want surgery, you wouldn't want.
No, I don't want any surgeries.
Um, do you, I don't know. I personally don't really feel any sort of trepidation towards it. I'm kind of wondering if you would want to elaborate on why you wouldn't want to get like a
Uh,
V, because
I've
that's
been under
something
the
that's
knife
kind
too
of
many
tricky.
times already.
Huh?
Been under the knife too many times already.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got in that car
I
accident
hadn't
with
thought
Kyle,
about that. Yeah.
they left some metal in there, and I didn't find it until I was 22, and it was damn near rusting. So they had to go in there and cut my hip all the way open and do all that. Um, and yeah, they did that twice. And then they were saying you got to come back every 2 years and get it cleaned. I was like, oh no, not every 2 years. And then stay at the hospital for 3 months. I had to live there for 3 months.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been 6 years since they told me to come back every 2 years. I just deal with the pain and don't complain because I don't want to do another surgery. That's what they keep suggesting. So there is that.
Hmm.
One of the comments here says it is not normal. I'm not sure if it's normal or not. Same thing happened to me. I feel postictal for a minimum of a week after a seizure. I end up watching tons of cartoons. Only thing that helps me. I always feel a couple days after a seizure, especially if it was more severe seizure. I had a VNS, but had it removed because of the DV damage. Of the DV damaging my VNS. What's DV?
Domestic violence?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
DV messing up your device, I would assume is domestic violence. If you're getting hit, you might, I don't know if it's enlarging it where it's supposed to be or whatnot, because domestic violence can be pretty aggressive. It can be very, but I'll be right back, guys.
Got one that says change in high protein diet and seizures. Hello all. Over the last few weeks, I've deliberately started tracking my diet more closely in an effort to consume less calories overall, to decrease my body fat, and increase my protein intake to complement an increased amount of strength training I'm doing. I had my first seizure for over 2.5 years. On Saturday night, has anyone had complications with their epilepsy linked to their diet changes? Say that again.
I was asking Angel if didn't he mention that he tried some kind of diet modifications before?
Angel's on the
did,
Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, the Mediterranean diet.
So if you had like extreme changes in your diet in the beginning, did that actually cause an increase in seizures?
No, it did not.
So this change in diet actually helped you from day one.
It was to help my liver out, and it reduce like the amount of seizures I was having, but it did not, what you call it, it actually was way healthier for me, because it focused on switching certain foods that I was eating, taking out it also increased more in fish, which helped with the memory aspect that we have. So
Yeah, so
the
it sounds like
B12, I
everybody's
guess.
system benefited.
Yeah, sounds like I need some fish. What is the specifically does the Mediterranean diet? What exactly are you eating and can't eat and all that?
You're going with what they eat in the Mediterranean area, which is basically mainly chicken and fish. And you can have red meat once in a while. You don't want to have a lot of you want to cut out the processed foods, obviously. I switch from, and then you want to put in a lot of more wheat in your meals, virgin olive oils. I'm trying to think of everything that I
Sounds like
switched.
dairy gets just about cut out, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I didn't hear was dairy. I eat a lot of chicken and fish already. That's kind of what I eat. I was thinking about a hamburger right now as well. So
Maybe turkey
Yeah,
burger.
yeah, hamburger isn't in the Mediterranean diet, correct?
Red meats, they say, are only supposed to have like it rarely, like less than once a week.
Yeah, once a month. Like it's a rare
Yeah.
type thing. It's like a cheat day, basically. Like Greek yogurt and stuff like that will be good.
Nightmares. I almost never have nightmares. However, since my TLE has emerged, it's gotten worse. I occasionally have them in bursts. My nightmares feel like a loss of control. Could nightmares be a sign of seizures in my sleep? I usually wake up feeling panicked, not well rested. Yesterday I had nightmares, but ended up sleeping for 4 to 5 hours through the rest of the day, which is very unusual for me, but that does make sense if I had a seizure. Anyone else have a similar experience or a comment that would help me in this situation? I'm also noticing that nightmares, maybe seizures, are linked to excessive daytime sleepiness. Has anyone else noticed this or heard of this? I was never told anything about TLE. I don't have the words for this one.
Well, MTLE is mesial temporal lobe epilepsy. The thing about having more nightmares when you take naps during the day, I've never heard of that, but I really don't remember dreams and nightmares anymore. And I hear more about nightmares linked to medications than anything. That's what I would ask about first.
Was it M or N?
MTLE.
Oh,
You heard of that?
I thought they might have been saying like nocturnal. And
That's what it sounds like they're asking, basically. Is that a
yeah,
sign of a seizure?
but not just nocturnal temporal lobe. That sounds like.
Man,
I don't know mesial.
It's often
It's-
associated with the hippocampal sclerosis.
hmm.
the one comment here says, I would say it could definitely be some epileptic activity. My seizures are often cause me to wake up and then have a seizure, and not to mention that my dreams are usually more vivid after I feel unwell throughout the day. When it comes to what I've heard from other people with epilepsy, they do tend to have wild dreams or nightmares quite often. Not sure what causes it, especially in their case. It can be safely say you are not alone. You're not alone.
Well, on the bright side, it looks like if there's damage in the hippocampus, those patients usually have less vivid, like simple dreams. So if your dreams are definitely not boring, then maybe that part of your brain is not damaged.
Okay, I have one. I really wish more people would give advice on this one. This is somebody who has been here. I won't say the name, but I will read it. It says, my boyfriend drunkenly dragged me out of the house by my shirt, spat in my face, pulled out some hair, and repeatedly yelled, fuck you, after I was recovering from epileptic seizures, triggered by no sleep last night. My neck still hurts and my shirt collar is ripped. Should I call the cops? Probably know the answers and that this relationship isn't going to last much longer, but shaking in the bathroom, only place I feel safe. Currently can't breathe or calm down. You guys gonna call the cops or you just gonna stay in the bathroom?
Cops.
Cops?
Cops.
Yeah, the spit in my face, that's the worst part. And dragged out, drunken, yeah. I'm calling the cops. Call the 50. It says, one comment says, I'm so sorry this happened to you. It's completely understandable to feel scared and unsure. None of this was your fault. You should call the police as well as someone you trust to help you and make you feel safe and comfortable.
Andrea's back. Give her a quick summary of that post and see if she would go with cops or stay.
Okay. Andrew, you listening?
Yeah, I'm working on fixing my computer.
I got one here. It says my boyfriend drunkenly dragged me out of the house by my shirt, spat in my face, pulled out some hair, and repeatedly yelled, "Fuck you," after I was recovering from my epileptic seizures, triggered by no sleep last night. My neck still hurts and my shirt collar is still ripped. Should I call the cops? Probably knows the answer, and that this relationship isn't going to last much longer. But shaking in the bathroom, only place I feel safe. Currently can't breathe or calm down.
Call the cops. I just came in as well. I'm sorry, but call the cops.
Yeah, this person has been here, you guys. You guys all know her, but I don't think I would say her name unless you guys find her.
I agree. Call the police and leave as soon as you can. Get out.
Yeah, a bunch of the few ones just say call the cops. Someone else said find
hate
someone
when-
you trust.
I see Reddit posts like this all the time too, where people will be like, "I'm being beaten every day by my boyfriend. Should I leave?" And it's like, yes, you should leave.
Well, me and her had a 1v1 and she actually talked about it. So I'm sorry that this has happened, but that 1v1 was a while back and this was 17 days ago. But yeah, not sure if you guys remember her or not. Check it out later. But yeah, that's messed up. I say call the cops just like everyone else. Any help, please? I recently developed a really bad sore in my throat, which is aching so bad, and a lower earache. I can't take any medications prescribed for a cold because they trigger my seizures. Is there any relief option available? I would love that and be so grateful. It really hurts. I already tried saltwater gargle and lukewarm water. Thanks again. The saltwater gargle usually works for me, or some warm water, like they said, warm tea.
Are they getting? I'm curious if they're getting canker sores. Growing up, I would get them all the time. To the point where it was enough that the dentist actually prescribed me. It was an oral like pain med. It when it dried up, it was like cement, but when it was fresh, you could rub it on, and it worked really, really well for pain on the canker sores. But yeah, they do make prescription medication for oral like abrasions and stuff like that. Because I would get them, like, I swear I'd have 3 of them in my mouth at a time, and I could barely talk because it was so painful.
Yeah, from what I see as canker sores, because I did not know what that was, it says, also known as aphthous ulcers, are small, painful less lesions that develop in soft tissue inside the mouth and at the base of the gums. They are non-contagious and can make eating and talking uncomfortable. Common causes: stress, certain food sensitives, and hormonal changes. Treatment options include over-the-counter typical medications, mouth rinses, and avoid irritants. To prevent canker sores, maintain good oral hygiene, and manage stress levels.
I don't know if this person's sorry, the way that description came off, it sounded like they were like sort of under, like, on your teeth side. But the ones that I had, and I think this person is talking about, are like on the cheek side. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it said base of the gum, and that was what threw me off.
Yeah. These comments. The first one says, one thing that helps wonders: hot tea or broth ramen. Anything very hot, not burning though. In liquid form helps for at least a few minutes. Chicken broth or ramen is probably the best effective of these things, as it opens your airways and loosens up phlegm. So you'll get a steam and warmth of something other that helps.
Ramen helps everything.
You can pay $10 for like 50 packs of ramen
Noodles.
noodles, and it's like poor people favorite.
It's like the Japanese noodles. I mean,
Oh
you can
yeah,
get like the
like
cheap
the
ones, but also there's like real ramen where like, you make your broth, you get the noodles, the whole shebang. But yeah, it's like Japanese noodles basically.
okay, yeah. So it's like the cup of noodles.
And anybody who doesn't know their way around the kitchen can mix anything in with it and turns it into a favorite meal for
It's like
you
those hot
gotta get the
noodles.
veggies.
They
Yeah,
got the
yeah, it comes in
bowl
the
with the
cup.
noodles that are hot. It's like those type of noodles.
Yeah.
Basically, if I don't put the sauce in it. Yeah.
Yeah, if they're saying top ramen, like they're definitely talking about the broth being soothing, and I just pick it up as really salty, and they have a bunch of different flavors, and you know it's all
But yeah, I know
processed
the
and like
little noodle packs, I guess.
Add some
Um,
cayenne to it.
I haven't had a pack of ramen noodles in a while. I think
don't rush. It hasn't changed. You're
I
not
would
missing anything.
I would make
someone,
I would make pancakes and have blueberries. I mean, like, and then put syrup on that for breakfast, and then eat that all day. That was me, low key.
he has a sore throat. We're trying to figure things out. Remedies to sore throat. That's what we're looking for. No one
Oh.
really had any remedies.
I wouldn't suggest anything spicy. I do suggest like when they said ramen broth, it's more of like the soup broth. It doesn't have to be like spicy ramen, but like having something that you can drink, and is also sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Shit. Not calming. Well, I guess calming, but you know how like having like a warm broth can make you feel better. Like having something
Soothing.
like that, soothing. Thank you, Kate. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Um, like a warm, soothing broth would be very helpful because you're not only getting the liquid aspect, but there are calories in that. So, you're feeding your body as well a little bit, even if it's not so much, but you're feeding your body.
What's going on, James?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Yeah, sorry I disappeared for a little bit. I had a couple of couple of kind of gnarly seizures on Wednesday night, and I just went into one of my, I don't know, my moods. I was really sore, all over. So I obviously I don't ever remember my seizures, so I don't remember exactly what happened, but I obviously had to have been flopping around for a while because yeah, every muscle was sore. I had a couple of bruises, cuts on me and everything, and just my head was killing me. So that was Wednesday night. I didn't make it to work on Thursday or Friday. Didn't eat for a couple of days. I just kind of wanted to stay in my own little cave for a few days. So that's why I disappeared. So nobody's fault, none of y'all's fault. I
Right.
finally started eating again on Saturday. I was able to actually keep stuff down. And then Sunday was nice because my sister, brother-in-law, and nephew came over. It was my nephew's, like I said, he's got the same birthday as you, Pookie, but they were out of town the weekend before. They took him to Disneyland, so then they came over on Sunday. So I got to see them, and seeing him kind of just cheered me up, perked me up a little bit, and I was able to, like I said, able to eat a bit more the last couple of days. So I got finally a couple more pounds back on me, and I made it to work today. So doing a little bit better, but yeah, that's why I disappeared for a bit.
The icebreaker today was, what's the first thing you notice when you walk in the bathroom?
Um, I'm kind of vain, so I'm gonna have to say I usually will like double check my my mustache. see if it's see if the curls are even and I mean, if you're talking about looking at at yourself, it depends on the situation. If I'm going in there because I'm nauseated and my stomach's not doing too well, then obviously the first thing I'm recognizing is where the hell is that toilet. But but just a casual walk in, if you're out with friends or something like that, I'm gonna be vain and check out my facial hair, make sure it still looks all straight and everything.
Got one here. It says honey lemon ginger tea. I also started brewing my own fine cider, and it's a game changer. It doesn't contain alcohol, just herbs and spices and fruits and vinegar. Chamomile tea. Over the counter throat lozenges are non-medicinal, but really good. And any hard boiled sweets.
I I would say from I don't know, my experience, like when I'm having a lot of issues with my pancreas, it tends to make me throw up, very very often, within like a day or so period. So my throat gets kind of raw from that. Something I guess warm, a little bit sweet, I would recommend. I heard part of the conversation a bit ago asking about different types of broth or something. That's hard to answer because it depends what I guess version or type of broth you're looking at, but usually broths have a lot of sodium in it. So if you've already been throwing up for a while, your body's a bit dehydrated, your throat's already a little sore and scratchy, all that extra sodium is just going to make you more thirsty. So if you're already nauseated and unable to keep things down, it might make your throat feel a little bit better, but in the long run, it's just going to make you feel thirstier and thirstier. And if you're not able to keep stuff down, that's the opposite of kind of what you want. It's just going to make it kind of drag on for a little bit longer. At least that's how it is for me personally.
We got another question here. It says, can I go on a holiday? Struggled with epilepsy for around a year due to having major stroke. My last grand mal was around 2 months ago. Due to my medication, I get really fatigued. I also hardly leave my house due to risk of having a seizure. But my family and I are planning a holiday, and I really want me to come. I would appreciate the feedback, but I'm not sure if trips for epileptics are a thing. Trips for epileptics.
Yeah, yeah, I have the same, even though I've done it before, I have the same thoughts, whenever I go, I don't know, kind of like, yeah, like small trips, vacations, whatever, with family. Like I mentioned before, I had a seizure while literally inside Disneyland, while at Disneyland. What? Thankfully, my parents, sister, brother-in-law, nephew, they were all there, like next to me, so they knew what to do and kind of take care of it. But had I been by myself, yeah, that would be, I guess, kind of worrisome. But if you're with your family and they know the situation and and all of that, that I would say use that to kind of relax your mind a little bit. It's hard to say that the person didn't explain what type of seizures they have or how often they are or something like that. So yeah, it's harder to go into more detail, I guess, without knowing that.
I would think someone who's asking me to go on like something like that would know I had seizures. Basically, that's just an assumption that you asked me to go on a vacation. Can I have to put that into? Forgot what the word is. But yeah, that has to be known. That the fatigue problems because of the epilepsy. I'd let people know things like that, assuming they did know. I'd also like remind them, I have epilepsy. I don't want to ruin your trip. It's all kinds of possibilities. One comment here says, go outside, take someone with you and walk around. I would also go to a busy place and see what happens. If you really want to go, then just go. Just keep a family member close by at all times. You can also ask your doctor to prescribe clonazepam. It stops seizures before they happen. You take one when you feel seizure coming on, and it stops. Worked wonders for me. That reminds me I should get some again. That's the only med that really works for stopping seizures. It also works very, very fast. As a few minutes, if I'm not wrong. It can make you a bit sleepy though. Another comment says, I think it's okay for you to go on to the holiday. You'll have to be very careful and take extra precautions. I have epilepsy, so I understand how you feel. Extra precautions could include taking extra medication so that you've got spare, booking a later flight time so you're not getting extra tired on an early morning flight, making sure you don't do anything when you come back so you can relax and sleep if you need to, and making sure you're not too overly tired.
I just want to mention too, just because I talked about mine recently after you guys reminded me about it. But the emergency ID, bracelet or necklace,
Yeah.
or something. If that person doesn't already have one, depending on when their vacation is, maybe they can order one, get it in time before that. So if they do want to, take a walk, do whatever on their own during the vacation, they can feel a little bit more safe too, knowing that somebody might find them with that information and can call whatever family member that they're with, and they can be there, pretty soon to help out.
Okay, I got something. It says, does anyone else ever feel like they're lying? About three times a week, I just go and I don't feel well, dizzy, anxious, confused, body feels weird, feeling off, etc., and need to lie down. And it just looks like I'm being lazy and just want to be on my phone. So I feel like I'm supposed to make a face that proves I'm not feeling well. I feel so lazy then too, because technically I could be doing stuff I need to do, just really don't feel well. So it feels like I'm lying in a way. And I feel like others are thinking that too. Anyone else feel like that in any situation?
I totally get
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like if people aren't there with you to see your actual symptoms and how you're really feeling, if you just express it to them, like, through text or whatever, it's so easy to think like, oh, people are just gonna assume I'm making this up. But if they actually saw me right now, they would know that I am not doing okay and I need some time.
Yeah, I feel the same way like that too. It's just sometimes, yeah, it doesn't exactly show, like you got the flu or something like that, you're sneezing, your nose is running, your eyes are watery, like it's evident that you're, you know, sick. But like I was saying, I had my last seizure there on Wednesday. I didn't go to work on Thursday or Friday because even on Friday I was still super, my muscles were still sore. I had really bad headache and nausea still. So from the outside, if you just looked at me, I looked fine. And yeah, it would have looked like I was just, being lazy or something like that at work. So I hate that. I feel like sometimes like the other way, like even if it's just like, oh no, I feel like I'm just gonna like throw up a little bit from the last sip of water I have. Like sometimes I feel like I need to make like a big production out of it and be like, look, everybody, I really am sick.
Yeah, I know what you
Not
mean.
that extreme, of course, but yeah, it's like that balance in between of always kind of thinking, what do other people think of me right now? And even after, yeah, almost a little over 20 years since my first seizure, I still have like these, yeah, it still bothers me of
Yeah,
do people think
sometimes it's like that.
do people think I'm lazy? Do people not know what the hell this is? And yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah, sometimes I think, should I just have a seizure in front of you just so you can see that I'm not feeling well? Sometimes that crosses my mind, but you can't just call on seizures. And then also, I'm trying to stay below a certain amount. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, they can't see it, so they just don't know.
I I have that feeling too, man. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, if I have to have a seizure, like let it happen in front of like some of these other people that don't understand the situation, so then they can finally see, what it actually is, what it like if I have to have one, it's gonna happen, right? Like just have it be in front of like those certain people. Like I'm not wishing that, of course, but I'm just saying I agree that like once in a while I have that same thought, too, man.
One comment here says, I hit a wall for no reason. I sometimes hit a wall for no reason. At some point in the middle of the day, literally happened this weekend. I woke up, had breakfast. Then about at 12 to 12:30, I need to go to the bathroom and rest. Got up at 1:15 or so, continued on with my day. My other one says, yeah, I feel like that a lot because my seizure activity doesn't show up on EEG. So I feel like that proves that I'm lying. But I'm not. If it was the medication that I'm taking would cause more problems than help. The last comment says, 1, have a seizure, 2, feel lazy and just going to get attention, which makes you upset. 3, have a seizure.
James, can I ask you, why the hell do you care what people think of you? If you're comfortable with yourself, why do you care? Is it just because of my age that I don't give a shit? And it's normal to care?
I feel like caring about other people's opinion definitely is a younger uh, person's ideology, but there are still young people who are also with you, right there with you, Jeff. I just don't give a fuck anymore. It's not an age thing. It's just your mindset. That's all. But yeah, there are
Older.
plenty of people who also agree with, I just don't fucking care anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's not
Getting. That's how I'm getting, especially every year. It's more and more.
I would say it's definitely progressive on the progressive side in 30s, and I keep getting reminded that for me this is midlife. So I just have to look at every day like, okay, if this truly is my last, is
Yeah.
this gonna matter?
Our favorite color is jade.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it
Yeah,
wasn't always like that.
I was gonna say for me, it's definitely not an age thing. I'm nearly 40. I was just mentioning the thinking of what other people think because I was talking about a situation at work. I work with younger kids, so I don't know if maybe there's like a parent around or just what some of the other teachers that don't exactly fully my situation or something. That's when I care. If I'm just out randomly somewhere or something. I've had times where yeah, it's just with my pancreatic issues, it'll be like 10 minutes after I eat something and I'm like, oh shit, I have to throw up right now and there won't be a bathroom anywhere despite being out in public, bunch of people around. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I don't care if these people think I'm drunk or whatever. They can think whatever they want of me. I don't care. It's just yeah, when I'm at work and it's with younger children, that's when I care. So
Sure, that's a
it's
good
not like
explanation.
a fully like life controlling like thing that it's always in my head. It's just, like certain times I care, but 95% of the time I don't.
Yeah, with kids, I can understand that your hesitation. That's a reasonable point there. Thanks.
So is this feeling gonna go away before the children are grown for the parents here? Jeff, you're probably the only one who has grown children at this point. So
No, he's not.
okay,
I got
So
kids in the 20s and I'm a grandmother.
okay. So did that don't give a fuck feeling approach before children were out of the nest?
It's gotten just every year it's gotten more and more, I would
Okay.
say, but probably more since they're out than they were since they're in.
Okay. I'm starting to tell myself that maybe this is the example that I want to give anyway. There's not so much pressure to, be the nice mommy all the time.
Do the best you can with what you got.
Right? Right?
Don't
No
always have
shame
to
on
be
still.
nice. Just have to be fair.
Don't be and don't be their friend. You're
Right.
their mother.
that's something we always have to be reminded of, that's for sure. Somebody else here is saying, how should I celebrate my small strokes that the MRI found? Lifelong epileptic. Sorry, I admit my sin. I smoke. I live a very constrained life, exercise almost daily, eat healthy, 3 AEDs, 2 antidepressants, all recommended supplements. I don't work. I have about 24 absent seizures and a tonic-clonic a year. Very limited social life. Just had a rough year that probably caused the ischemic events. My life was and will be full of restrictions, plus the medication that drains our energy and destroys our memory, plus the depression. Every 2 weeks, a seizure occurs and reminds us how vulnerable we all are. I know I must quit smoking, but how do you celebrate or digest that you had small strokes? And they finish it off with fuck epilepsy all day, every day. I mean, what does a stroke really tell you? I don't know if they're getting like the cause of the seizures narrowed down, or how do you celebrate that?
I'm curious to know
Celebrate
who
maybe.
has actually had a stroke. Who here like has had a stroke before?
I haven't, but maybe celebrate the fact that they found out about it.
And they're still alive. You know, it could have definitely could have been worse.
Exactly.
That's a really good point. Sorry, I jumped ahead, but you're right. The fact that they had multiple and are still able to type out their issue is an achievement in itself, you know.
And they're saying they drive. They're replying to somebody else's comment saying, I'm just a bad person because I smoke, but 3 epileptologists have told me that's okay. Drink alcohol, I drive, I'm thin, no cholesterol. Another sin, my father died this year. My mother had an accident, so I don't exercise so often. I get devastated by my exams. Okay, so maybe they're not, maybe they're just young. They're talking about
Okay,
getting
yeah. The
exams.
second that you said they drive, Kate, my whole face and body clenched up. Like, okay, you can smoke, you can drink, that's on you, whatever. You driving, that's on everyone else now. You shouldn't be doing that. We've already discussed this many times, but I needed to point this out in case this person ends up seeing this part of the episode. Please don't drive. Please.
Best of luck on your exams. Use that knowledge wisely and don't get on the road. Okay. But yeah, pretty much all the comments agree with just, celebrate that you're still alive. Another one is saying, I'm having an aura. I'm on a train for the next 40 minutes. I'm having a really intense aura and I had a small focal seizure already. I'm diagnosed with non-epileptic seizures, but it's likely a misdiagnosis of underlying epilepsy. Paramedics won't come if I call because they think I'm faking seizures. What can I do? How do paramedics not come when you call? That's suspicious. But yeah, the first comment here makes the most sense. Alert a member of staff on the train and explain the situation that you don't have meds. They will at least have some knowledge and be able to help you out. I hope your situation gets better. I don't know. You guys ever been somewhere where you think something might be coming and don't have anyone to call?
No, and do you think she might have been being a little melodramatic that they wouldn't come if she called them?
Well, it looks like the OP name is Toby, so I'm thinking maybe it's a guy because it looked like he was responding to some of these comments saying, I ended up calling an ambulance, had a tonic-clonic about as soon as they got there, was unconscious in the ER for about 2.5 hours, and they're still denying epilepsy.
So it
yeah, I don't know.
sounds like they came when they were called.
Yeah, it sounds like they did. Go figure.
Whether it was a she or he, still being melodramatic and saying they wouldn't come.
Yeah, that was definitely why go Reddit before 911. So anybody who may have ever felt like they were in that situation, just totally helpless with no one to call, never doubt paramedics. If you call and talk about an emergency, impending or otherwise, somebody's got to show. more recent one here about vitamin supplements. I have epilepsy. I'm drug resistant. However, the medication I'm taking helps. Taking almost everything out there possible. Anyhow, I've been taking Topamax and it deals with my cognitive decline. I'm not the same as I once was before I started taking it. I lose train of thought. I can't think of the words that I'm trying to finish my sentences with. I fall short on my sentences because I can't seem to remember where I was going with. Off on a tangent. Used to be smart. Now I feel dumb. I want to know what vitamins I can take or what others like me take. I have focal aware seizures that used to be grand mal a year ago. I can't get away without saying B12.
Nature's
What do you
made,
guys think?
right?
I was
Oh,
just
yeah,
about to say the same thing. By nature's made.
Anybody
So
else swear by a
I'm the
daily?
hypocrite with the nature's truth. Sorry.
Many people are taking the B12.
I was
There's
the
too
one
many
who
with cameras off.
I was the one who told Pookie about it originally, and
Yeah.
he started taking it and immediately noticed such a difference that at basically every stream he does a shout out to Nature's Made B12.
I
And
know.
every time he does, I'm like, motherfucker, you know I told you about it in the first place.
He
So
was
you
talking
really get
about
the
it.
credit.
He's
I get
always
no
talking about
credit.
it.
I get zero credit.
Well, from
We're
now
all
on,
grateful to Brandon.
you also acknowledge your contribution to this.
Did he? Oh, okay. If he did, then good. I'm totally fucking around. I don't really care. No one. This is not an issue.
Another thing that I take for my brain fog and fatigue is CoQ10. I
Okay.
can't say enough about that. It keeps me alive. I feel absolutely trash without it.
How do you how do you spell that?
COQ10. It's short for something like coenzyme Q10 or something like that.
You got it.
Um,
So is this one that you ever had to be told like which medicines it doesn't go well with, or always after a certain age for females, or?
I've never heard anything about that from anybody. My doctors all know that I take it. Nobody's ever commented on it. I take it with L-carnitine or acetyl L-carnitine. They work really well together, and like I said, I can't live without them for my brain fog and fatigue. But
It looks like I'm
L-carn.
sorry. I'm looking up CoQ10, and it looks like it's mainly for heart health. Yeah, everything is saying that it's all for like heart health, and
But there's
the
energy supporting properties when it's in combination with the acetyl carnitine.
oh yeah, like the combo, like for sure would help. Just on its own, it doesn't look like it would help, but I feel like having the combo is probably a good thing.
N-acetyl L-carnitine is the form that is given to support liver health, and in emergency rooms, it's actually what they administer in the event of a Tylenol overdose. It goes and yeah, reverses
Well, WebMD is calling
the
out the
enzyme.
carnitine as not safe for people with seizures.
No, right, carnitine, I'm thinking L-cysteine. Sorry, never mind, wrong one.
Oh. No, everything that you said
I
matched
got
up. I
the
don't know
wrong
about the Tylenol part, but carnitine definitely said a lot about digestive and other systems. So,
How much
Yeah, no, I was,
Tylenol do you have to take to OD on Tylenol? That's
oh,
I'm
that
no,
definitely, if you're
no,
smaller, not that much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
I'm thinking about it as an adult and not a child. Yeah.
the effective dose of Tylenol compared to the toxic dose of Tylenol is much smaller than it is for a lot of other over-the-counter medications. It really is pretty easy to overdose on Tylenol. And it is one of the most
Overdosed
popular,
on
one of the
medication.
most, yeah, one of the most popular like go-to medications for overdose, like intentional um overdose. So
That's wild. I had an ex-girlfriend who like she had I think it was a liver problem. And I still have them, but she couldn't take like normal Tylenol. She had to take like kids Tylenol. Um so they were just like a much smaller dosage. But that makes sense that they would do a smaller dose for kids because like if it's easy to OD on it, don't don't give them the chance.
And 3,000 milligrams a day is not a lot. We all take a lot more than that on Keppra, you know that. But it sounds like that's the amount that they say is counts as an overdose for adults on Tylenol. Somebody's saying that they take magnesium, but it's expensive. Good for cognitive function, anxiety, stress, sleep, heartache, or headaches. It's the most effective of magnesium for crossing the blood-brain barrier. So they're saying cheaper types. Okay, so it's magnesium L-threonate. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's a really specific type of magnesium that they're saying is better for our brains.
I have heard that taking magnesium supplements is good for brain function. I've never done it, but I have heard that it's a good thing to do.
Somebody else singing magnesium praises, and they're saying on top of that, fish oil. PCP recommended it. Said they got a lemon flavored one, so it doesn't have a bad flavor. Vitamin D, B complex is in here. Yeah, so it doesn't sound like
I've heard about
anything
the fish.
specific.
I've heard about the fish oil too. If I wasn't against the fish aspect of it, I'd totally do that because I've heard that fish oil is really good for your brain.
Well, hey, now that we have Raven back in the room, let's get your icebreaker. What is the first thing you see when you go into your bathroom?
When I what?
Go into your bathroom, your restroom.
A wall. It's a tiny little bathroom. Yep, a wall with some towels.
Excellent. Welcome to the crew. So, seizure and concussion on this one. I still feel postictal 6 days later. At first, I could barely recognize my husband. Holy shit. So somebody's saying they got a concussion after this seizure, but they're stressing about how 6 days later they still feel postictal. I think the most I've ever felt off was 3 days. What about you?
I don't know, that sounds more serious. Like someone before was talking about having a stroke. I feel like that they might have had a stroke. If they're still feeling this way 6 days later, it sounds more serious than just a seizure.
Yeah, and they don't get into any detail about whether it's like
Yeah,
just
a week
visible or what
later
they're feeling.
is something I think you should definitely like emergency room or something. Not emergency
Something
room,
else
but
is afoot.
urgent care.
Go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody else here is saying I had a concussion after I fell on the sidewalk during a seizure. It was definitely a harder recovery. First week was the toughest, forgetful, but this was a whole new level. headaches and light sensitivity for the first week, ears ringing, normal fatigue, couldn't concentrate. Got milder as time went on, but it wasn't back to baseline until 4 weeks after. Doing off his job and couldn't afford to miss work. So sounds like this patient wasn't really prioritizing recovery. And I think that might be why it took a month.
Yeah, the person, the original post, like this person probably had some sort of head trauma that went along with. If it was just a seizure, they probably hit their head and haven't realized it yet because the symptoms sound more like an actual concussion than just a simple seizure.
Yeah, and I mean, when anybody's having a brain bleed or something, that would be undeniable. Got to get it looked at type stuff. Now, that's different than a concussion. So definitely never ignore any symptoms after a bad one.
I got one here. It says, do you have any words of encouragement? I'm sure there are a bajillion of you amazing people that can relate. I just looked out for a support group in my area and I can't find no one, so I'm here. But does anyone else get frustrated that when you're talking about any kind of long-term struggle, you have this condition, for example, memory issues, personality changes, etc. With other people, their responses are like, well, memory fades with ages anyways. Well, you don't have a good memory either. Personality changes over time anyways, etc., etc. Doesn't that irritate you? Doesn't that irritate anyone else? I know they're technically not wrong, but I'm in my early 20s and this is happening to me because of how many seizures I've had or my medicine. It's not a circle of life issues. And again, I'm young. I used to have a fantastic memory and now it's absolute garbage. You tell me when your body tell me when your B-day is once boom, you remembered. Didn't even have to write it down. Now I would never remember it if I have to put it on a calendar or a phone. I feel awful, like invalidating that this is a new struggle, that it just seems to get worse and constantly trying to figure out how cope and work around it as not a burden or to hurt anyone I care. Especially my personality changes for medicine. I was so patient and tolerant. Now I'm a raging bitch and I don't know how to take vitamins to isolate myself in a room. I apologize in advance. What I wrote doesn't make any sense. Starting a new medication and it makes me insanely dizzy and loopy for the first 2 hours of taking it. Also, if anyone else knows anyone, maybe know any online support group, I could look into that and that'd be great.
Come join the Epilepsy universe and
We
the
all just like started going,
podcast.
hey, here we are.
Who does support groups these days? Where are those at? What is that? I heard they have none of those. But there's a lot of comments here. This person's looking for encouragement. That's all. I just been looking for stuff where you guys can give people advice. You guys, this is advice. These aren't questions.
Well, we all agree that the number one advice is to come to Epilepsy Universe, join in season, like the videos, subscribe. Go ahead, Angel.
Get a good night's sleep.
I was going to say that come to Epilepsy Universe is very encouraging.
Take your B12 just in case.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go to some comments. Words of encouragement. Make sure you have a good, what's it called? Support system. There you go. Good support system. Change your life. First comment says, I hate it when they do that. It feels dismissive and invalidating. Someone else says, kept a rage. Words of encouragement? I don't have any. As someone in your shoes, what can we possibly hear that would make us feel better? Nothing. This group, we understand we struggle with the same shit. I'm sorry we are here. What I tell myself is, in quote, give yourself a moment to cry and feel sorry for yourself because we have the right. That's okay. It's okay to stay there. So yeah, cry, scream, etc. And when you're done, get your ass up and give life hell back. We get nowhere with our feelings for ourselves. We'll be okay someday. Much love, my friend. Feel free to message me.
Somebody's saying I tend to have seizures not that much often, like once every 6 months, but starting to have absences more when I notice I eat a lot of carbs or sweets. Doctors recommending a ketogenic diet, so having the high fat, low carbs, but having a cheat meal at least once a week. And they're saying, does this ever work with you? You know, cutting out just the carbs or cutting out just one food group has ever made a difference for other epileptic patients? My advice on that would be if the diet is going to be too strict to follow, if the doctor's even saying that it doesn't seem like your seizures are related to that, then if you're going to commit to that, don't expect it to necessarily cure that like once every 6 month seizure. But if it is just to improve your overall health, then look at it as that, you know, just get realistic expectations. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think that like cutting stuff out of my life, like I don't think my diet is the problem at this point because I know B12 it works for the focals, but I'm not exactly sure if changing my diet is gonna help right now. Not with my epilepsy at least. Yeah, I'm not sure how diet helps, but I heard that keto can help certain people or whatever the case. Yeah, I'm gonna stick
You've
to.
been feeling better because of the diet of having us around. We're your diet. We're making you feel
Oh yeah,
better.
nice. That is a good diet. Strict diet. Yeah. Anybody else change their diet to help you feel better? I'm guessing that's what it's saying. Anybody change your diet to
I
change?
have. Well, I have. You know, I think for my diet, I mean, like I changed to like from like eating processed foods to now like earthly foods, more like yogurt, blueberries, grapes, almonds, and even vegetables and like carrots and broccoli.
Carrots and broccoli. I think I just had some of that a few days ago. Let's just say that.
Have you
I've
noticed any
changed my
change?
diet.
Come again?
I've changed my diet as well. I gave up eating sweets for the most part, and I cut out most of the bread I was eating. I was eating bread at all three meals, and I don't do that anymore. I don't know if that's responsible for any change, but that's the only thing I've done.
So we have one question from Raven, I believe, about Jordy's like how do you feel about like your how does your body feel after cutting out like certain foods?
I feel like I'm much better. I feel like a much better person, you know, because like when you eat like processed foods, like you'll notice how your body acts, your body starts to act like so like how do I say this? Like, you know, like feeling kind of shaky, if you know what I mean.
So you mean you feel shaky when you eat processed foods, but you feel more stable without processed foods?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I changed my diet, but I gave up gluten. So I'm one of those like crazy gluten-free people. I don't necessarily think that would work for everybody, but I personally have seizures when I eat gluten. That might be something related to being celiac, but I'm not willing to eat gluten to trigger the antibodies to be tested for celiac. I'm just gonna not eat gluten.
Just trust the evidence.
Right. It makes me feel yucky and I have more seizures when I eat gluten. So that's that.
I've been vegan for 10 years, and my like best friend, he was also vegan for like almost as long as me. But when he found out that he had celiac, he was like, shit, I really can't be vegan anymore. This is too hard. This is too hard. I was like, oh, bud, it's okay. We get it.
No, seriously, when your limits get that restrictive, sometimes you just gotta take what you can get. I hear it.
Back to ramen.
Ramen noodles are like all gluten. What are you talking about, Kate?
Oh, okay, yeah. So that just goes to show you I don't have any dietary restrictions. I know ramen is the ultimate like empty, nothing good for you kind of food.
It's the last thing left in the cabinet.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there's noodles here.
My
Somebody's saying
upstairs
deja.
neighbor
Okay, go ahead.
is absolutely losing her mind right now, and she is screaming and stomping, and I'm a little worried, guys. I don't think anything's gonna happen, but like if I start going like making like sudden looks up to the ceiling, you know why. My upstairs neighbor is out of her fucking mind.
All right, as long as you know it's not an epileptic rhythm.
Does epilepsy cause hallucinations? I mean, not that you're hallucinating, it's just a serious question.
I don't think I've ever read anything or heard anything about that. I'm sure like our brain going through trauma can lead to some weird thoughts, but I don't think hallucinations have ever been recorded as like an epileptic response, I guess. That's just me. Anybody else have anything to throw in? Please do.
Occipital lobe seizures can affect vision, causing hallucinations
I mean,
before, during, or after.
yeah, that.
I've had a couple of times where yeah, I've seen weird stuff that was not there. My worst one was one of those, so it was probably like, I don't know, it was like around 1:30 or so. I don't fully remember this. This is like half of what I remember, half of what my parents told me. But for some reason, I thought I saw like tons of little like black bugs, like, I don't know, bigger than ants, like maybe the size of beetles or so, just like crawling all over my bed and like the wall next to my bed. And I swear I saw that and I'm freaking out and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, and then so like I open my window, right? And I like push the screen off of the window, and like I'm sitting there trying to like swipe these things like out in the direction of the window, and they weren't moving. Well, obviously they weren't there, but but to me, I wasn't seeing them move. So I'm freaking out. Like I run out to like our kitchen pantry, and I'm sitting there like shuffling a bunch of shit around. I'm trying to find like bug spray or something just to, I'm freaking out, right? So I'm just like whatever I can like kind of think of, and apparently I'm making like loud enough noise that I woke my mom up, and she comes out and she was like, what are you doing? What the hell is wrong with you?" Basically. And I was like, there's so many bugs in my room right now. Like, I don't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. And she goes in there, like, cause she's, concerned, like, that they're actually there. She goes in there and I follow her, and I was like, look at them. I was like, look at all of that. And she's like, at what? I was like, all of the bugs, like on the bed and on the wall. I I was like, that's why I have the window open. I'm trying to get him out. She's like, James, there's nothing there. I was like, what do you mean nothing? And like, we went back and forth, for a little bit. And at this point, it had wakened my dad up as well. So he came in there and he was, trying to calm me down too. I'm like, dude, there's nothing there. Like, relax, relax. And yeah, so eventually they finally calmed me, down. And for some reason in my mind, it was like all the bugs had like disappeared, right? Because they weren't there to begin with. So I finally, that helped calm me down too. And I eventually ended up going back to sleep. I woke up in the morning and my parents had asked me what I remembered of it. And I was like, hardly anything. I just gave a couple small little details and then they filled in the kind of the rest of what happened. So that, like I said, that was the worst one. I've had a couple of other times where I think I see something moving around, or like I think I see like a random person. Like, I don't, like one time I thought I saw somebody walking in our backyard, and clearly there wasn't a person there. So that's, yeah, I don't know exactly if that would be the medication or not, but that never happened before I was on my Kepra for the last few years. So that all those weird situations plus a couple more have only been about within the last like 5-6 years or so.
Have you ever interacted with things that are happening in those hallucinations?
I mean, kind of like I was saying, kind of with the bugs, like I was trying to like, scoop them off of my bed and like out the window. And then I went and tried to go find the bug spray because I was going to, spray it on my bed to get, right? Like that's the best thing to spray on your bed, right? Raid, right? And then lay in it right after, right? Super
Oh, that's
healthy.
funny.
So yeah, like I said, that was definitely my worst one. Other times I'm sure I've probably like, talked to something or tried to move or do something, that wasn't there, but nothing as major as that one night. And I hadn't done anything out of the ordinary. I hadn't drank any alcohol, so it wasn't like it was some crazy side effect. I think it was just the medication and maybe a like half awake, half asleep type seizure thingy. I wouldn't even know what proper term to try and use for something like that other than craziness. Other than I straight up lost my mind for 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Says I'm a crack baby. 21-year-old female discovered that my mother, who passed in 2021 from an overdose smoking crack while pregnant with me. I wasn't diagnosed with epilepsy until 2024, after I was having frequent seizures due to my first and only cocaine binge in 2023. I was a missing person for about 4 months before being found. It was a reckless choice. I had unfortunately fallen into trafficking, which often include drugs. I believe my seizures, which started shortly after I began drug use, which were due to possible overdose, since I would not remember anything. However, I continued to have seizures about 5 a month, even after I was clean, which led to diagnosis of myoclonic epilepsy. Luckily, my Kepra, I have been seizure free for 10 months. I am curious as to whether my epilepsy stems from my mother's crack use during pregnancy.
It's the same thing like opioids, stuff like that. The kids will come out addicted to opioids and shit, and they're like, I'm feeding for a life, feeding for a perk. Not funny. It's very bad, and parents should not be on that when they're pregnant. No bueno. But yeah, they come out addicted to cocaine stuff, meth, and whatnot, because it's an addictive substance.
But I was thinking,
I don't know how to help that person, so I hope that they're okay.
Yeah, I would seek further help, but
that needs some like mental health help as well, like, and like detox type, because that being born, I don't know how old the person is. I kind of forgot half of what you said now.
21-year-old female.
I think 21, right?
21-year-old female.
Yeah, does she still fiend for it, is she saying? Sorry, I use the word fiend in Illinois. It's just the word you use in Illinois. Here, I
It's
don't.
okay. Yeah, I read it all to you. I'm not sure if she's still feeling for it or anything, but
I mean, just because it's not her fault, because she wasn't the one carrying herself as a baby. Her mother was. So, I forgot what her question was, but that can be very that can cause a lot of problems. Doing that while pregnant can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, even our medications can cause problems.
You're always supposed to consult with your doctor while pregnant as a female on what medications you're taking if you're pregnant, because during the development of the fetus, it can severely damage the baby or cause a lot of problems down the line within their growing and how their mind and brain develops and whatnot. So, also fun little things, I'm sure. I think I was just messed up from the sack.
yeah, so I got a comment here. It says there's been studies that show a link that does cause other neurological problems as well. I'm an 80s baby, if you catch my drift. Oh, yeah. Increased seizure susceptibility. Several studies indicate that crack cocaine exposure during the gestational period can increase seizure susceptibility in offspring. In animal models, crack cocaine offspring exposed to seizure-inducing drug showed higher susceptibility to status epilepticus, increased seizure frequency, and neurodegeneration. Another one says only a doctor with an MRI will be able to tell you definitely. I know my mom used it when I was in the womb, and I'm pretty fucked up. I don't know if that's the issues, and won't know until I get an MRI.
Yeah, I just was gonna say that's a really tough question to to answer, at least without a lot more details, or at least without one of us having like direct medical knowledge on that. The best thing is just to make a doctor's appointment, let them know what's up, and like the other people were saying, get
let them
get different scans, get double checked, just make sure, just go through everything once. Which again, that's hard to answer because I don't know the person's like medical insurance
And I
situation.
never
So
used crack, so I couldn't tell you.
yeah, I never have either. So I
I
have no
can't get
idea
pregnant, so
what yeah, exactly, right. It's just, yeah, it's a really broad, hard to answer question, other than just straight up saying, ask your doctor. Don't be afraid. You might feel a little bit ashamed about it, but
There's nothing to feel ashamed about because it's not the person's fault. Like they might, like you said, they might feel it.
no, I know
No.
that. I'm just saying they
Sorry,
may
I
feel.
realized how that sounded. I wasn't trying to come at you. I just want the OP person, to know that it's not their fault that their parent did. It's not anyone's fault that they did drugs while they were still in the womb, and that it's okay to feel embarrassed or anything bringing it up, because it's a tough thing to grasp with. So what you said is completely valid, James. Sorry. Sometimes I say things and they come out like fucking flabbergasty.
No, it's okay. I just didn't want to like feel like have you feel like I was coming off as like an a-hole about it. That's all.
No, you're fine.
So cool.
All
So
right.
hopefully it works out for that person. Yeah, just get some tests done. Start from there. If they if they do get those test results and they feel comfortable with it, share a little bit of the details with us, and we can maybe help them along with the next step.
I got a few more comments here. I'll go through these because there's not many here. One says, my mom and I deduced that her only use of cocaine was around the time my brain was in the stage for the stroke to happen to my cause of schizencephaly. Can someone please tell me what this is? SCHIZENCEPHALY.
Schizencephaly.
Schizencephaly. Okay, so studies in children born in the 80s with schizencephaly had moms that participated in taking crack, like 80% or something. She'll never forgive herself. Every day she watches me struggle and cry out of fear. The pain in her eyes is almost tangible. Oh, you were a test result. That's fucked up. You were a research.
Oh my god. That was not a crack baby, that was a research baby.
Shit. That's a research baby. That is fucked up.
Awful. You know, I thought in my head once, I was like, why are we using animals to like test things? We should just use humans. And then I kind of thought back for a second. I was like, that's a bad thought.
Right.
Use humans to test things. I mean, we probably shouldn't use animals either. But we're probably not going to make any kind of forward progress. That's a really tough subject right there.
Yeah.
That is really damn.
That's
Damn.
fucked up. That's just leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm having a baby. Let's test out and see what happens if I do crack cocaine during it.
Right. It's insane. Like the days where they give you crack to do a test. I couldn't imagine. That is fucked up. Like I'm pregnant.
Do this line every morning.
They gotta give me like some millions for the rest of my life. Just in case this kid comes out like he did. And
That
now
sounds like old crazy ass like science thing that would be shown on like the TV, like this happened in 1900.
That was before my day. I'm not that old.
yeah, I'm old. Yeah, the 80s is my time, and I remember the crack era. Not that I was there. I remember stories I heard and how bad it was. And
Oh, I remember it. I'm just saying I'm not part of the people wanting to research crack babies. That's just wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a question. Does almost 30 count being old?
Come again?
Does almost 30 as
No.
being old?
No, it does not.
No, sorry.
Almost
Hell outta
30. That
here.
would mean you
Not
still
old.
are in your 20s.
I'm almost
You're still
37.
a kid.
Hey, what the fuck does that make me? Holy shit! Let's back the fuck. Let's back
You're a
up.
baby, Lufa.
I don't
Dude,
want to be a
Lufa,
baby. I'm an adult.
you look like you're 20, bro. Like
Thank
you're
you.
all good.
Hey, James. James, she is 20.
I'm an adult.
Oh, are you really 20?
No, she's really 20.
That's funny. I was just picking a random number out of my butt. I just picked a younger number. That's funny. I honestly didn't know that was right.
Damn,
I honestly didn't know that
not
you're.
going the way that
Tell her that.
I don't know
I
why.
honestly didn't know that was your actual age. I even thought I was trying to just make a joke, but
Oh, I'm like 20 or 25.
Yeah. Man.
no, I
Yeah.
said
Look,
20. I
alright,
said 20. I said 20.
I'm in my 20s. That's what we're gonna say. I'm just in my 20s. We're gonna leave it at that.
My TCs made me 90.
You guys make me feel old.
Oh,
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, I'm born at 6 in the morning. So at 6:01, would I be 1 years old in 1 hour? Or do I still
No.
count it as 1 years old?
One thing, the issue that everybody had about the crack babies and the testing and stuff about that. I don't know if you were all just being, you know, to, but the way that would have worked, those studies back in the 80s, the way they would have worked, would have been not to that those babies addicted to crack just study them. It would have been, I mean, that particular study, the way that that was worded, what they would have said that the rate being 80% higher in crack exposed babies would mean that they found mothers who were using crack, who were already addicted, and who are willing to participate in the study. Um, it would have been the mother, either way, who was already addicted to crack, not the scientists studying and performing any of the studying that they were doing. So that if that was a point of confusion there, I just wanted to clarify that in people's minds that there were not scientists back in the 1980s going around and getting babies addicted to cocaine just for the mere purpose of studying uh, the effects on human development. Um, so uh, that first off, and then the hypothetical, the baby born at 6 a.m. would not be 1 year old at 6:01. They would not be 1 year old until 6:01 the following year.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So like basically Lufa is in her 20s if she's 20 in some hours or whatever the case, right? In her
Yeah,
20s. Well,
yeah.
you can actually use
Me,
that.
like right now, I passed my 39th birthday just a few weeks ago, so I'm 39 years old, but that means that I am in my 40th year. So am I over the hill? Am I past 40 or am I still in my 30s? Yeah, that's a pressing, important question for the group right now. Am I still in my 30s? Please.
I don't know, that came to mind like in
Technically,
my
not
30s.
up to
I'm not
10.
36
So
anymore if
if I had
1 minute later it's not my birthday anymore. My birthday was 6 o'clock and it's 6:01 the next year. So I'm officially
really,
older than one.
Mhm.
I don't know how that would work. That is a really
when I turn 29, I
thing.
feel like I'm gonna be in my 30s because the next year I'll be 30.
That's how
But
Like,
exactly how I feel right now. Cause like low
yeah,
key, I'm like in the midst of 30,
you're
and
about to enter. You should be past your 2020s midlife crisis thing, whatever that's called, the 20 life crisis thing.
quarter life?
Sure, I never was. They said
Quarter life.
yeah.
ability, so I don't know what that meant because I don't do math.
Well, if you say that like you're halfway to like 29 to thirds, I mean like basically you were born in 1996, which is 29 years ago. So 2025 minus 29 equals
Y'all are
1990.
using 19 as the beginning, and I'm over here in 2004. So I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, yeah. So it's just like
Gen Zer,
so it'll be
Yeah.
like I'm 30 and a half. That's basically like,
millennial.
yeah, you're not 30 anymore, you're 30 and a half. So a minute would be you're a minute, a year and a minute, something like that. We
I
can
don't know
move past that because
where this question came from.
We could. Mm.
there's another one about this crack baby. I mean, the one asking, is she a crack baby? It says, you've been dealt such a shit hand in life. I hope things get better. Then another one says, so you did coke one and started to be trafficked. Damn. Pretty sure the coke during pregnancy caused it. There's been studies that show a link. It does cause other neurological problems as well, increased seizure susceptibility.
It is a upper a stimulant type of deal. So in my experience at least, anything that ups me is going to get me maybe to have like a seizure or something. Because I know when I was around 8 balls, I was like, whoa, oncoming seizure. Don't do that. That's good advice. That's advice to not do drugs. Ever.
Make sure I don't do whatever that was.
Don't just smoke weed or like, just don't buy things from sketchy people.
I'll keep that in mind next time I see a sketchy person.
I saw a flashback on my Snapchat memories, and it was my next door neighbor explaining how meth can be used as a tool. Yeah. Those were the days. And we're past those days now.
That's very good.
Yeah. I never did math. He was just explaining how it could be used as a tool. And I beg to differ.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Okay. I just wanted everyone to I didn't do math.
Okay, good stuff. Glad you did.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.